Hello, I'm Rosie and welcome to my channel. Well, this channel is called Roo Rosie, but obviously I'm from Rosie of the Roo, because that's who I am. So this video is going to be the types of young people you get at disabled youth groups. For a second I nearly forgot the name of my video. So what am I doing here? I should just leave. Jokes, I'm still here. Let's just keep it going. So, the types of people you get at disabled youth groups. Let's go! So, as an autistic individual, I went to a disabled youth group to get to know some of my peers and have some good times, which I mostly did, with some crazy times spotted in there. Because why not just have a bit of fun with it all? Anyway, the first type of person you get is the challenging one. The challenging one used to be the worst, because basically they'd have like 6 staff members around them at any one time, because they're stupid that way, and it used to be the worst. It used to be really bad. And also, like, this individual would get treats for like the stupidest of things, like, oh, he didn't kick over a chair today, let's give him a cake, and stuff like that, which just be irritating, as obviously a 14-year-old who had never kicked over a chair at the group, and I didn't get a cake. It's cold, just got treated like everyone else, as you do, and like, obviously I get that. But the challenging one used to be a handful, because they'd also develop human motivators, which I'll go into later. That's a very important point for later. Just, yeah. Story about the challenging one. Once a month, we would go bowling as a sort of treat day kind of thing, because most of the days we'd just would be at the centre. But every Friday, no, not every Friday, every month every once a month on a Friday, we would go bowling at the local bowling alley, and they decided he hadn't trashed the place for 2 weeks. Let's invite him, because most of the time he just wouldn't come because he was challenging and stuff like that. And obviously I'm not going to advocate that if you're challenging, that's it, you can't go bowling ever again. However, I felt like there needed to be more in place for the situation than what there was, because basically this individual doesn't have any social boundaries, doesn't have any social cues whatsoever. He doesn't like losing. He's pre-verbal, so he couldn't completely communicate what was up. He hit 1 pin when he did bowling. And obviously we have the ramp because we're a special needs group. Even he still got a 1 pin, and he got a bit challenging. Let's say there's like a group of 6 kids with like a few staff members and volunteers and stuff. Basically, I was in his group that day. I was not a fan. So basically, he walks down the alleyway, slipping and sliding over in the alleyway, because obviously it's slippy because it's meant to have a bowling ball, not a person. So, and then basically 3 staff members had to leave their group with their volunteers who weren't technically allowed to do a lot with us, so we could have just run riot. But to be fair, we were all quite well behaved as we watched this situation unfold in front of us. And anyway, they managed to get him off the bowling alley, but then it seemed to be like they forgot that we were there, kind of thing. Because then like 2 staff members had to then take the boy away and deal with that. Doesn't help the fact though that the boy was quite a hefty guy, so they pretty much had to drag him off the bowling alley. And then I was lucky we didn't have a police called on us, actually. Yep, and then after that he went home, and we went about our bowling like nothing ever happened, which I think was a testament to us rather than anything. Anyway, that is the challenging one. Here's the overt challenging one, who all the staff members are scared of. And the next one is the sly challenging one. Sly challenging one is the worst because they're challenging slyly. Like, they'll kick you under the table, they'll pinch you, they'll try and get you to do head, shoulders, knees and toes, and then all of a sudden just grab your hair. And it's like, oi, get off of my hair. I need that. Well, I used to have longer hair when I was younger. Obviously, it wouldn't affect me now because yeah, that didn't used to be helpful. The sly one also seemed to always be the favourite, and like the sly one could do no wrong kind of thing. So you could be like, hey, so and so said something snide, or so and so pinched me. And I'd be like, oh no, they didn't. They're just probably playing. And I'm like, no, it hurt. Like first world problems. Got pinched. To disabled youth group. Then they also the sly one. Or you also need to be careful of the sly one because the sly one would end up getting into fights. The third one in our list is the human motivator. And do you want to know so basically I'm going to explain what a motivator is, and then I'm going to explain what a human motivator is, and I'm going to tell you a story because I'm all about stories today apparently. Just put the camera on and was like, I'm going to do this list, and then I'm like, actually I'm going to tell some stories with the list because I thought you're not going to go like da 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 da. You're going to be like da 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 da. Sorry, this is just in. Stop now. What was I? Oh yes. I need to say stop saying So the third one is the human motivator. A motivator is basically something that is used by staff and obviously by the person as well to motivate a special needs person. Like in particular if they're challenging. For example, let's say we'd go to the park and they've got Billy Bob, who's a bit of a absconder. So basically Billy Bob loves cars and he needs toy cars to relax. So basically they take the toy car with them, and basically if that person's about to abscond, they'll get the toy cars out and be like, look, you can play the toy cars, kind of thing. So that's basically what a motivator is. Something that is used to get people to stop being so challenging, or maybe it's just used to calm someone down. Mainly it's just used for that. However, a human motivator is something that really shouldn't happen because humans aren't objects. But it's used to happen a lot. Mainly to me because I was like 14 I was growing into a woman at like 14 very quickly. So I was quite appealing apparently. And then yes, so human motivators, let's not do it. It's annoying as well because like you've always got, like if you're being used as a human motivator by the staff, then you've got to be with that staff member, or you've always got to be around that person. Like you'd be put in the same group as them, and the staff would be like, oh no, it's done randomly. Well, it's done randomly that so and so who only talks to me as the only kids. The only young people he speaks like would interact with was me, and therefore he knew my name. Like he didn't know a lot of things. He could say the odd word like Alfie and home, and then he learnt Rosie, and I was like, can you not? Like he's not learnt my name on that by accident. Someone's told him my name. Anyway, rant over. You always get put in the same group as them. You always get It always feels like you've got to be in that eye line. Sometimes the staff sort of just decide that they can't be asked anymore, and they just go, you know what, Rosie, you sit with him for a minute. And I'm just like, I'm talking to my friend kind of thing, and it just gets irritating. Anyway, story time. We went to the Space Centre in Lincoln, minding our own business. Obviously we were there as a group. I didn't just turn up and he turned up. No, we went as a group. They obviously put us in groups of staff, volunteers, and children, well, young people. Because we weren't a part of young people. We weren't a part of the children group because obviously we were teenagers. Anyway, all on the same coach. Then we all split up and do different circuits of the Space Centre. On the way there, the young person, who shall remain nameless because I don't want to out him. I don't know if you'll understand if I out him, but at the same time I respect his privacy. So basically, he stood up on the coach and we had to pull over in the lay-by, and all the staff were going, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, and counting, and sit down, sit down, sit down, and counting, and sit down and counting, and sit down and counting. So I got fed up at this point. I'm sat with my friend, chilling out, living life. I stand up and go, sit down, and he looks at me. He looks at me and goes, Rosie, sit. So then I had to move my seat, because I was at the front of the bus and he was like quite close to the back. I had to get my back and move to the back of the bus to go sit with him. And I was just like, and obviously like, I'm a nice person, so I'm not exactly gonna go, no, I'm not gonna sit with you. But at the same time I was like, can you not? Like, can you chill for 5 minutes? No. And like at the time, I was just accommodating. I'm still accommodating now. I'm too polite for my own good. I was just literally like, I don't want to sit with him, but at the same time, if he's going to get up again, we're never going to get to the Space Centre. I'm never going to get to look at some rocket ships or whatever they have there. We're never going to be able to be in that dome room with the TV and all that fun stuff at the Space Centre. So I was like, fine, I'll go sit with him. So I sat down next to him, and we had some nice interactions. I'm not gonna lie. He wasn't all bad. He just, when you can't be around him for too long, otherwise you get very, very stuck. It gets very, very irritating. So then we get to the Space Centre. We get told what groups we're in, and lo and behold, guess what group I'm in? One thing, they've separated me off from Hannah and my friend, which very annoyed me, because I was like, if I'm gonna be in a group with someone, I'd rather be in a group with Hannah and my friend, because we get on and it just works. So then basically I get put in the same group as this person, and to be fair, he didn't actually spend that much time with us because he sort of kicked off at the front because he wanted to go in the cafe, so he sort of walked off, leaving him with the staff that were trained to deal with him, so he walked off. So I'm at lunchtime, I'm minding my own business, walking along with some people, chatting to the staff members, chatting to the volunteers, because I felt I was more in touch with the volunteers than I was the young people I was put in a group with. And I hear, Rosie, Rosie, Rosie! And I turn around and he's like running towards me. And he's, like I said, he's quite a hefty person. And he's like going, Rosie! And then he drops to the ground and grabs my legs. So I'm literally had to use all my balance not to go falling on top of him. And then I was like, come on, get up, we've got things to do, we've got lunch. And then I looked at the staff member and I was like, it better be lunchtime. It was lunchtime because I was hungry, and also it was a good motivator to get him to get up. Yes, so moral of the story, don't use young people as motivators. It's not fun. And if the person is got the functioning level that they're higher, and obviously they've got theory of mind and they've got empathy, they're always going to be like, yes, of course I'll help you, but that shouldn't be the case, because obviously my parents were paying money for me to go to things as a young person, not paying money for me to go as a helper or motivator kind of thing. So let's just sort of take a step back and let's stop using people as motivators. I saw that done once in my one of the places I used to work at, but I got nipped in the bud very quickly with another child. So hopefully that is a thing of the past. But it was quite annoying at the time. But people aren't motivators. People are people. People are just trying to live, and people have probably paid money to go on a trip, not to be a motivator. Anyway, that is the human motivator. Take it as you will. The motivator things goes very well into the fourth one, which is the unofficial staff member. What is that, I hear you? Rosie, what is an unofficial staff member, I hear you ask? Well, YouTube, do you know what an unofficial staff member is? It's a young person who is quite high functioning, being used as an example for other people. Therefore, they put you in groups with the low. Usually put the unofficial staff member in a group with the low functioning ones to hopefully sort of get the unofficial staff member to influence the lower functioning. But last time I checked, the functioning levels are nothing to do with like being influenced by people. People can't be influenced into becoming speaking kind of thing, if that makes sense. Yes, so the unofficial staff member does a lot of things to help the staff, and to begin with I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that because I like helping and I'm a good person. And then towards the end I was like, I hate it because like they always call on me to help them out, and I always end up in the group with the lower functioning ones, when really I want to be in a group with my peers. But at the same time, me or Hannah and my friend didn't have a lot of our peers, because it was like Hannah and my friend who were like the highest kind of functioning at the group that we went to on a Friday, and then everyone else was sort of lower functioning, and I mean that in the nicest way. Like they were lovely people, they were lovely in their own ways, but at the same time you need to have more people to communicate with. So basically they sort of treat you as the unofficial staff member, but then you don't get the perks of being a staff member. Like I didn't get paid. I would end up in groups. I'd end up with in the groups of lower functioning people, and it'd just be a bit crazy really. But I did enjoy it. Like I did get a lot of experiences from the disabled group that I wouldn't have got before, so I appreciate that. It's just there are things that need to be done, to be changed, to make it even better, which I think they will, because everything grows, everything changes. We need to stop having human motivators, and we need to stop having unofficial staff members just messing about, doing their own thing, being annoying. Yeah, we need to stop that. Let's pack that in. So we've gone past the unofficial staff member. Basically, they get treated like a staff member with no perks and no satisfaction from it. Well, I did get satisfaction from it to begin with, because I was like, look at me, I'm helping. And then like obviously, because like the novelty rolls off and you're just like, oh, here I am, live my life, dead. Bit dramatic today. So the last one, and no means least, is the easy kid. So basically the easy kid is the kid that would be seen as the one that the staff members would want, but they used to be one-to-one. They used to be one-to-one, so they're obviously not easy, otherwise they won't be one-to-one. But like, they're not challenging, like they're not physically challenging. They're more likely to drop to the floor and scream and cry rather than like pull your hair or deck you in the face. And to be honest, I think I like the easy kid because they're quite fun to be around. Unless you turn the DVD off and then, oh no, I'm not ready. Put the DVD back on. Just the screaming, the yelling, because unfortunately the easy kid would usually be non-verbal. Bless his heart, bless her heart. And then they'd have struggles of their own, but like they'd internalise a lot of their anxiety as well. So like the likes of the hefty guy earlier would literally just whack you, or not whack you, but like whack the staff. Like he never went for a kid. Whereas like the easy kid would like drop to the floor and just scream and cry. Usually they'd try and evacuate the room a little bit to give the crying one a bit more space. However, a few times I was friends with the easy one because I obviously, like I said, the easy one was nice to be around, so I'd be comforting. But that's different. Obviously, that's different from being the human motivator because you choose. I obviously chose to be his friend. I didn't choose to be a human motivator, but I did choose to be the easy kid's friend, just because he was very nice to be around. Non-verbal, didn't speak much. Well, obviously he is non-verbal, but he was a very nice guy. Down syndrome. He'd sign a lot, and I got a lot of my signs from him. He'd teach me signs, and I'd sign back. He could speak. He could understand you. He just didn't quite know how to speak. He did have a slight habit though of trying to sit on my knee, but it was fine. We dealt with it. Like, no one died because he sat on my knee. Anyway, that is my list of types of people you get at disabled youth groups. Don't you think, staff at disabled youth groups, you're getting away with this one? Next time will be a video about you lot. You lot. You staff members are going to get called out. Joking, I'm obviously joking. There are a few staff members that should be called out for obvious reasons that will be explained in my next video, but then most of them are absolutely lovely. You wouldn't have met the nicest of people. They're friendly, they're nice. Anyway, we'll go into that next video. Like and subscribe if you liked this video. Comment below if you've went to a disabled youth group and I've missed anybody out, or if you want to talk about youth groups in general, because obviously there are mainstream youth groups. I just ended up at a disabled one. Goodbye. See you next video where I'll be talking about staff members you get at disabled youth groups, because they are not getting let off the hook.